So I've been thinking a lot about AI and its future impacts. And as I said before, AI is going to create a circumstance where all moral choice is accounted for. Most people only think in terms of yes or no. Did I get the coffee today? Did I not get the coffee today? What implication does that have on me? In reality, life is an array of probabilities. And those probabilities, or array of probabilities, pretty much configure to a few or even a dozen moral actions. AI will calculate for all these actions, and therefore, the most dehumanizing, debilitating, and humiliating consequence for human moral behavior. That's what's going to happen in order to beat the system of oppression and corruption. Really, any corruption. So therefore, the only way to beat the system is to be completely immoral and psychopathic. Right? And that's why we're talking about this conversation, because if you're deemed evil by the state, you will now have, you won't have any moral action. You won't be able to do anything and even want to be a good person, because why would you? You're not deemed as such. You can't act normally and function as a good person. So why would you even bother or try? Right? So, talking about my experiences with police corruption and abuse and sexual abuse as a child, I'm not going to hide my feelings anymore. I have to talk about these things. Fine. If I'm deemed a monster, so be it. I had to become one in order to defeat a monster. So this is what it is. I'm 32 years old. I saw a lot of my friends growing up, into their 20s, their mid-20s, becoming heads of organizations and companies, nonprofits. And as they succeeded, my life started stagnating, because for the last decade, I believed I was cyber attacked, and I had vicious email denial strikes and server denial strikes, among severe psychological torture in the form of my internet use. They were using my internet addiction against me. They were using my diet. They were using, everything, every psychological state you can imagine, they were using against me. So you're not going to convince me. As a 32-year-old, if I grew up in my 20s, if I had love in my life, I'd be able to get an apartment. I'd have a better station, a better financial, economic station. And when you bring these Asian women on the arms of these undercover cops, and when you have these people cyber stalking me and harassing me in public, it only confirms to me, right? You're never going to convince me. If I was a different person in my 20s, I'd be a happier person. You can't approach an Asian woman without a smile on your face, and I might never have one again. And why would I even want to be with these women when I felt betrayed by this white society? Right? I'm inferior. I'm not good enough. I don't see a future. When I look at women, today's Women's Day, just so you know. Women don't represent hope. They don't represent joy anymore. Women don't represent beauty. They represent attraction. They don't represent a future, because all they represent is political power. Political power against me. My sexual attraction to women, a weapon against me. That's all it represents. All they represent is power to me. I can't see them as people anymore, because I want my sense of political power back. I want my power back. These cops, it's only one way. The SIU has a historically low rate of conviction. Therefore, they are at odds with my survival. If these Toronto police aren't arrested and detained and put in jail, if they don't die from the heart attack that they were trying to cause me, then death is the only option I'm willing to accept for them. I want them to be viciously violated and murdered. I'm not joking. By way of which violence, that's the real question. I want these police officers to go to prison, be viciously, savagely attacked, and if they survive, die of a heart attack. Because that's what they were calculating for me. They're not talking about social disparity. Just like there was the Robbie Maj case, what are these officers and detectives texting themselves and other people? Are there third-party groups? What are they saying to themselves when they're pilfering information from these online chat groups, right? Of these criminal harassers and such. What are these Toronto police saying? What is the RCMP and the government saying behind closed doors? They're trying to murder us to our stress level. It's no longer about social disparity. It's about sexual disparity, because they're bringing our women on their shoulders and they're saying we're racially inferior. Therefore, if we can't live in a free society where we can love, feel secure, and be protected, we want violence against these Toronto police officers. We want them in jail, and we want them to die of a heart attack viciously. Because it's our survival or theirs. Fuck them. We want them to die. You're not going to convince me. The love I could have had in my life had I been a different person, had I been allowed to be a different person. You're not going to convince me that I would have had a worse outcome than I already have right now.